Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United at the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes down. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United from the National League are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast in association with Lucky Star Gin. I'm your host, Mike. If you've listened before, welcome back. Remember, I will only take responsibility and apologise for the first one. Rest is on you. If you are a new listener, you're very welcome. If you've come back to us after listening to Steve's interview, this is more usual. I just generally slapdash some questions and I get very lovely people to come and answer them and pretend I know what I'm talking about. Talking of the lovely people, we've got a frowny Claire. We've got Joe looking a bit
I just
bewildered.
felt like you're about to downplay us in comparison to Mr. Morrison, and I don't think that's fair.
I built you up. I said you're lovely, awesome people. And
Okay,
Neil,
carry on. Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah. Wow, I was being nice. It was me being slapdash. On the engagement, we love hearing from you. Don't tell me I'm slapdash because I know that. Stay connected, join the conversation, follow us on social medias at Sutton Podcast. Do join in my amazing new Lucky Star lounge because I've pushed it and not one comment in there yet. But that's fine. It's a long season. But we're going to do instructions. Neil, how has your summer been? And more importantly, I think we had this last year at the start of the season. How's your lawn?
My lawn, my beautiful new lawn, looks better than Gander Green Lane, though I am growing a lot of mushrooms out of it at the moment.
Okay. Magic? Or...
Well, no, not magic, but it was seeded
Not
on
this time.
It was grown on mushroom compost, so the mushrooms are growing through. But it is beautiful.
I'd be out there every morning taking my mushrooms for free. And how was the rest of your summer apart from your lawn maintenance?
It was fabulous. It was fun on my allotment and planning a few holidays and going to pre-season friendlies.
Lovely. Joe, the media team now. Joe, have you got any Altrincham content planned? Because Steve was asking about that.
Oh, we are. I was not involved at that point. Not me. No, yeah, been a cracking summer. Summer, everything I could want in a summer. Working. Oh. So this is good. I don't want to be rude because I'm going to see Claire tomorrow and she's going to say he was being all cute and he was saying how much.
Just before we record,
it's very rare in the office when I went to training for the first time and Aaron was like, "You're not going to film it." And I was just standing watching, like mouth open, just like I don't know, it was fanboying, but no, it's amazing. I had a good summer. I'm getting results next week, but we don't talk about that. So yeah, it's gonna be fine. We're gonna be cool. And then it's been a really nice summer. I went to Spain and I've had a really good time.
Excellent. And Claire, nice quiet summer for you.
It feels like, I know everyone's talking about how excited they are to be back, and I kind of feel like I've never been away. I think I've possibly spent more time at the club over the summer than I spent there during the season, or at least it feels like that. But lots of really exciting stuff happening over the summer. Lots of redecoration and DIY and lots of planning for what's to come next season. I've got lots of exciting events up my sleeve for 25-26. So yeah, it feels good. I had a week away last week as well, which was a nice little break and spending quality time with Joe. So it's been a good one.
Talking of quality time, Joe, did you listen to the Hampton and Richmond game on Mixlr, or were you not able to get it?
I was there, so I didn't listen to the commentary.
I thought you were away on that one.
No, I came back Saturday lunchtime so that I could go to Hampton.
It must be on this flight.
Well, it was
Neil,
not. I
you-
didn't know it was on a flight down in. So I was down in Dorset. So it was a motorway
Fair
job.
Neil, you were desperate to mention the commentary. Go on.
Well, I was very impressed by Joe's commentary, but he came out with two of the best lines. John Motson and Barry Davis would have been proud of them, which the first one was, do they get a lot of beavers in Surrey? And this is a creature that's been extinct for 400 years, that's only just slowly being reintroduced into various parts of the country. So, that was classic. But the best one was really, and Terry started laughing and couldn't stop, was when Joe couldn't work out which side of the penalty area was left and right. And he was getting very, very confused. And it was very confusing with the commentary. And Terry was telling him it depends on where you're standing and which direction you're kicking in. And that didn't seem to make any difference to Joe, who was still getting his lefts and rights mixed up.
Did you not write it on your hand, Joe? When you put your hands out in front, this has got an L.
I'd like to say that it was a roller coaster of a commentary. But I thought the Hampton and Richmond are called the Beavers, but then nothing was happening in the game and everyone was getting substituted. So we kind of delved into the history of the Beaver and why it's called the Beaver. And then someone in the chat, Tony Dolbear, the man himself, told me something's like on Beaver Road, and then we just got into a whole kind of.
They used to have a beaver as a mascot, and just between visits, the beaver disappeared. So Andy and I often, and we sung it on Saturday, sing our favourite chant of "Where's your beaver gone?"
What tune? Where's your beaver gone? Where's your beaver? What tune? Yeah. Okay, fine. So all of you that want high quality commentary where you can't figure out your left and right, tune in at the season opener against York on Saturday.
So you didn't get this kind of level of content with Steve, did you?
We did not. No, Steve definitely didn't talk about beavers. Firstly, right, Neil, beavers can't be extinct if they're coming back. They can't be extinct for 400 years. They were just in decline.
It's extinct in the UK. Sorry.
And Joe, that commentary sounds very much like the old days of Amber Planet, where you click on a thread thinking it's about the next game and you'll be reading about something completely different within 2 or 3 posts. It used to be absolutely off at a tangent at any given opportunity. I don't know if there's still an archive of some of them, but some of them were just great. You know, why has this had so many comments? And you realise. Right, so let's quickly cover all the signings. I didn't do my my little scouting reports because I got destroyed last year. I was like, I can't do this. But Claire, we'll go with you. Anyone
Comes to me first.
Standing out so far? Anyone you're a bit surprised at? And do you think there's any weaknesses? Did we think there's anywhere we could improve at this stage? Obviously, we've just done the pre-seasons and we're looking mighty fine, so there probably isn't. But how do you feel about the signings so far and how they've gelled in?
It's been really exciting to watch not just the pre-season games, but I think Joe and I have kind of been in a bit of a privileged position where kind of obviously we get to see things behind the scenes and be in and around the players at the club and kind of get a bit of a feel of kind of what the vibe is behind the scenes as well. So I think you not just see them as kind of their playing ability, but you see kind of how they're all gelling together. And actually, I think I don't think from what we've watched so far that there is something missing. I think we've got a really good mix of people. I think it's been really exciting to see kind of the step change from what was there before. I think we've all talked about, I've definitely spoken with all of you about kind of the lack of communication last season and the fact that people weren't talking to each other on the pitch, and it didn't seem like we were really necessarily driving forward as a team. And I definitely think you can see the difference of that on the pitch. It was massively evident on Saturday with the way that they were communicating, and also the communication coming from the bench and the fact that they were listening to that and doing stuff about it. So I think that I wouldn't think there's anything missing. I think from a behind the scenes perspective, they just seem to have gelled so well. There's a real good ethos and vibe about the place. everyone seems to be kind of laughing and joking with each other, and the camaraderie is really, really there, which is very exciting to see. And I think you've seen a step change in some of the people who are still around from last season. Like fitness has really upped, and the way some people are performing, I think, is really, really exciting and really encouraging. I think kind of the what's the word? The experience that we've added to the team. So the likes of Jonesy and Phipsy have really kind of added to that. And then along with Woody, like have really kind of added to that kind of, I'm not going to say senior because that sounds rude and they're probably all still younger than me, but that kind of experience level, and they're really kind of bringing people with them. So it's really, really great to see that. And I think like, Woody in particular for me feels like a completely different person to watch. Saturday he was just the last few games where he's been playing just been phenomenal, and really excited to watch kind of what comes from that. So no gaps from me, and exciting to see what they all do on Saturday.
And beyond, let's not.
And beyond, obviously, but yeah, one game at a time.
Yeah, one game at a time. Let's not get too excited. Let's not get to the end of the season yet, as Steve quite rightly said. Neil, what do you think of the signings in general, and has anyone stood out for you, or any gaps for you?
I have to agree with Claire 100%. Now, there's a first. I'm
so privileged.
I think every single one is an absolute upgrade on what we had last season. And I think the player that's potentially going to be the most exciting, I think actually is Jayden White. He's David Ajiboye-esque, but actually seems to have much better ball control than David Ajiboye, but not quite as fast. So I think he's going to be absolutely a key player. And I think he might actually make himself one of the first players on the team sheet, actually.
Okay.
Very impressed by him, particularly.
Good. Joe?
Yes, obviously kind of echoing what Claire said. I think just the I feel like every player has improved, like in every way. No matter if they were here last season, just one, they're all a year older, and a lot of them either had never played at this level before or had played at a higher level but hadn't got any games. I mean, Steve said on the podcast the other day, he said about Simps playing the most games he's ever played in a season, but he just, again, seems like so much more compared to where he was, let's say, coming into the game against Tamworth on the first day last season. Such a different player. For me, I mean, you can always talk about, signing Nadders on a permanent. I think Kane Critchlow's a good signing. I think one player who I think was already here, who I think could be another key player, Jack Wadham. He was really good on Saturday, and he just seems like he was playing in that kind of attacking midfielder role, and now he's kind of settling a bit more into midfield, and he just seems so much more fluid and comfortable with his game. I think he could be really, really crucial for us this season if Simps takes a more attacking role. If they're playing together, but obviously we've got such depth with Sidge and Woody. I think from the new boys, I think Liam Vincent. I think the long throw, especially in the National League, is a massive potent force to have, and I think he's as equally defensively minded as he is going forward, and he does both duties. But I think someone who maybe because he didn't score goals, like you'll see Phipsy. I think Eden Pruti is another player who has a lot of potential, so strong in defence, got a killer pass on him, as we saw with the goal against Naddison, for Naddison against Crystal Palace. But just so composed on the ball, a leader. But I think all of the defenders in particular, just how loud that defensive unit is, it's so nice to see. And even I think Tiz had a bit of a shaky first 10 minutes on Saturday. But then for the next 20, he was excellent. But I saw it because I was kind of commentating on the side where Jonesy was. Every time he had the ball, Jonesy was shouting, guiding him through it, because he'd had a bit of a rocky start to the game, and he came into it, and he was one of the best players on the pitch by the end of the half. So, and I just know that looking back on last season, let's say that's Tyler French and Ryan Jackson, it's not the same. It's not the same connection. It's much more quiet. It's much more separate. It was almost like when we were playing that back five, or it was almost like the centre backs were playing a different game to the full backs, and it was like the centre backs were expected to kind of take the burden on that. Whereas now that it feels like the defensive unit is not only connected to the keeper, but so much more. Each unit is part of a collective rather than just get it from defence to attack, which I think is will pay massive dividends, especially earlier in the season, because that can take time to develop, and some teams won't have done it. Top teams who maybe are just making signings now, the likes of Forest Green, York, with so many good players, I think could be another one. So I think that is something which is I don't think people will see how important it is. Like, you can see all the individuals, but to have a team which is so kind of cohesioned, I don't know the word,
Cohesive.
I was going for the verb. I didn't know if cohesive was right, but just so cohesive, it's really nice to see. And I think it could be really good, especially if we've got quite a few difficult games where we go into them last season thinking, right, we might struggle. Actually, if we're on it, then these games turn into, let's not settle for a point away from home. Let's turn this into something more and really get momentum.
So I asked which player stood out for you, and you named all of them, I think.
We're just so good. Like,
I know.
Good at football.
So we'll stick with you for a minute, Joe. The pre-season calendar, fixtures, whatever, a really good mix of teams, different levels, different styles. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, it's nice and easy to say that when it's pre-season, but we've got good results. But watching the team play, some of those games, especially the Millwall game, for example, the people near me as I was passing and so on that would normally complain was actually quite good. In fact, Claire, you were with me when Frankie said he really
I wasn't.
enjoyed. Oh, weren't you? Okay.
I wasn't. Not at Millwall.
Oh, okay.
But at another game, yeah, where I think it was possibly the first friendly where he said that. But I do think that, I mean, I watched the Millwall game on online, and I have to say, like, I think the scoreline flattered them, to be honest. Like, we should have had a couple more than we actually did. And you're right. You know, in any other situation, you might look at something and go, "Oh, that scoreline, like, okay, cool." Like, you'd be disappointed, you'd be upset. But actually, like, the kind of level of kind of competition that we gave them, given the kind of the gulf between us in a league sense, is really, really encouraging. Like, I don't suppose any of us really went into that match thinking, okay, well, we've won every single other pre-season friendly that we've had, so we're going to absolutely batter Millwall, because none of us are drinking from that cup, right? But like, it was really, really encouraging, and it was so good to see how we responded to that challenge. And actually, I think it was a really good learning opportunity to actually kind of battle back against them. So, like, I don't see how anyone could have left that being, you know, upset by it, because I do think we could have walked away with a couple more goals and actually, you know, really pushed them a little bit harder. We were unlucky not to get a couple more in some of the situations that occurred.
Yeah, if we had, I think people would be getting way too carried away.
But that is the risk, right? That we've had this amazing pre-season, and that people will go, "Oh, going into this is how it's going to be." And I think you kind of have to go, okay, this was pre-season, and it's been a really good learning opportunity, and it's been a great place to build a foundation. But now it's time for the league.
It's nice to be able to do it this way round, isn't it, Joe? To say, "Oh, it's only pre-season," rather than, "Oh, it's only pre-season, we'll be all right." But what did you think of the mix of teams, Joe, and performances?
I mean, they're all tests in their own way, and they're all difficult tests. I mean, Wickham and Wimbledon, two League One sides, one who was inches away from the Championship last season, with one of the most hotly sought after strikers in the country, who was kept in Jack Taylor's back pocket for the entire game, or for when he played. Wimbledon, yeah, they had chances, but we were just better and we looked more complete. Yeah, they've got places to go. They might struggle this season, but they are two leagues above. Chertsey, another difficult game, you know, playing on a very different standard of pitch against a very different style of team, not passing focus, much more physical. And You know, it wasn't the best first half, but is that a good thing? Yeah, because it's how you bounce back from that, and we certainly did. Crystal Palace Academy put out very similar teams to who they played against, Barnet and Bromley, and Barnet and Bromley got a draw, and I think they beat Barnet and drew with Bromley, and we comfortably, bar playing the last 15 with 10 men and a few, you know, wouldn't have liked to concede two at the end, but again, dominated them and well deserved the win. And Millwall flattered us, and Hampton and Richmond, again, a really good result in a team in a very competitive league below. I feel like we had for the first time last season, because it was all away, they were all lower league opposition. You might have been forgiven going into this pre-season that you think, okay, we've got upper league opposition, this might be tough, but it doesn't necessarily show where we are. I think actually for the first time I'm quite not confident, but I'm like, yeah, we might actually have a good indicator of where we are, because, you know, they're at different points in their program. We seem very settled, despite that number of new signings coming in, despite there's still continuing change going on behind the scenes and on the pitch, and tactically and how each player plays. I think the preseason was pretty much bang on in terms of what it needed to do for us, which it didn't last season. I think, you know, we had some rubbish performances. Dartford, I remember being a very bleak day, and then a really good game at Welling the game after. But you look at it now and you think, okay, we've faced the lower league test. You'll face, you know, Chertsey might play like teams like Tamworth and Wealdstone might play this season, but you've also faced the passing and you've kept in every game. We've seen that pressing, which we saw at times last season, but never got consistent. But we've got it consistently now. It seems in every game there is that like front three pressing all at once, and we've done that against the Wimbledons and the Wickhams, and that will be what the likes of York, Southend, Carlisle for a screen will be playing like, and we've managed to deal with them. So we've got quite a good barometer for how everyone's going to play. Not everyone, but kind of just. We've played all styles of football, and that's a really good thing to have. And still quite a young squad. Like the average age, I read in the scouting report, is under 23, or just above, I'm not sure. So it's still a very young squad, and last season they looked inexperienced. I think that is pretty evident to say. This season, there are one or two, and at different points they show their inexperience and maybe there's lack of games at the level. But as a group, there's no difference between this and, let's say, a squad from 3 or 4 years ago in terms of how they look on the pitch. Because you did have young players in that squad as well. And they really do kind of... It's such a big jump in that sense from last season, and the pre-season fixtures that we did reflect that.
And Neil, the sort of overriding thing is the results, especially for me, the Wycombe game sort of came away from that going, okay, we won, but I actually wouldn't have cared if we hadn't won, because it was the way we were playing and the confidence, and the Terry Bullivant loved it when I sort of said the next day the swagger. He was like, oh, I like that. I like that word. But what did you feel about the friendlies in general and how we performed?
We've had as good a results in past years, but some of those results have been lucky, or the opposition haven't taken them really seriously. I think we can tell a lot from this pre-season, because all of the teams played, they didn't look like pre-season because nobody was taking any prisoners. We looked as if we were desperate to win, but so did the opposition. And we didn't get any lucky win. The performances deserved the results that we got. So for me, it was always the performance, and to see how well the team were gelling. It's obvious because they've all been together right from the beginning of pre-season. They've been training every day. They arrived fit before they even started pre-season. And that certainly is manifest by Woodyard, who's a different player. He's like a completely new signing. He's speedy. He's got stamina. He doesn't look shattered after 5 minutes of getting onto the pitch. I just thought this was the most impressive pre-season I've said, and I think you can see how it can extrapolate into a proper league season, and it's got to facing the teams we've got to in the first month.
I think the thing that to build on what Neil says, they started pre-season on the 30th of June. Like, this team have been playing together for 5 weeks. Like, if you can't be excited about what we've seen in the last like 3 weeks of that, when it's only 5, like it's in its infancy, that's very encouraging, I think, as well.
Yeah, Moro marked it as a B. I'm
Perfectionist.
I'm just going to say it. I was surprised he went that high, just because of who he was. I'm not saying I didn't deserve it, but I was just like, oh, okay. What would you have marked it, Claire?
Oh, do I disagree with him? No, I mean, it's very encouraging. I'll give it. I'm gonna go higher than him because she likes to show off. But I say an A minus.
Okay, fair enough. Neil,
B+.
excellent. Joe, do you even know what we're talking about with the letters?
No, I do. I'm doing A levels. I need to know.
Oh, fair
I
enough.
don't know why that took me so long. I got scared. I heard A and I just went into freeze mode.
A levels
no,
still letters, but GCSEs are numbers.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh,
I
that's
know.
stupid.
It is stupid, but they still talk about it. Teachers still talk about it in letters.
Everyone
so they're like,
talks about
7's an A. So, B+.
Excellent. Lovely. Right. Claire, you can drop out of this question if you want, but
Thank you.
Joe, off the pitch, you see things like Morecambe and Hartlepool's little letter from Jeff Stelling, or to Jeff Stelling. Don't let him in your ground. I'm going to tell Jeff, by the way, it don't cost that much to be a match day sponsor, so be a match day sponsor and you get invited into everyone's boardroom anyway. But do you think some people may have, what's the word I'm looking for, overreacted to some of the changes that we've put into place, considering, as I say, how other clubs are run? Go on, Joe.
Yes. Massively.
All right, you're on the media team, so I'm going to leave you there. Neil,
I'll go on. I mean, yeah. Neil, you go, because I'm...
The Sutton fan will overreact to everything. They seem to overreact to the truth and underreact to the serious. And I think that's the paradox. We are an oddity, you know. We're perhaps unique, but it's been like that for the last 40 years.
Yeah, it's something we don't necessarily realise, but we have been spoiled so much to feel, to have a voice at the club, a strong voice that you can literally go, hey, this is how I want it, and people will listen. I mean, I work for a local authority and we get complaints and act upon them. Other boroughs nearby get complaints and they just shrug their shoulders and go, so what? And people go, what's the point of complaining?
I think to give a slightly kind of politician's answer to it, I think that what it might do, and seeing some of those things, if you look at Morecambe, and we wouldn't wish that on anyone, right? No one wants to watch the demise of their club. And if you put yourself in their shoes, like, that's heartbreaking. No one would ever want that to happen to Sutton. And I think, if anything, it should act as a little bit of like a kind of a reminder that actually, like, do you know what? Some things might happen that I don't like, but I'm very grateful that I do have a club, that it is managed very, very well, that there are people in place who are, you know, putting a lot into it to keep it going, to sustain it, so that, you know, some of us have been watching it for 30, 40, 50 years, that there will still be that club in another 30, 40 years for people to come and watch and be involved in and enjoy. And I actually think, like, if nothing else, maybe it won't stop people from voicing their opinions, but it might make them a little bit more grateful for what there is there. Because I definitely think from my perspective, like, I am so grateful that that's not us. Like, I'm heartbroken for them that that's happening to their club. And, you know, it's happened to other clubs around us locally and things like that in the past. And it does just make you very grateful that we are so lucky. And maybe that, you know, it does give you a little bit of perspective, I suppose, is the words that you're searching for. But Neil's right. Everybody's got a voice, right? So they're always going to exercise it. But Yeah.
The Hartlepool letter makes me kind of giggle because that was like, oh my God, that is badly reflecting your club. And then Aaron makes a typo putting 2024 instead of 2025. And people go, oh, it's ridiculous, sack him. And it's like, calm down. It was a small typo. Go on, Joe, you put your hand up. Very sweet.
I don't want to interrupt. The other thing I would say is, this is compared to all of you. You've been coming to Sutton for how many years? You found the button you'd like to speak. I didn't realise. How am I the most technologically illiterate one? And I'm meant to be the one who knows it. No, obviously you guys and so many people I meet at the club have been going here for so much longer than me. And initially, that's quite I think as a 14, 15-year-old young man, that was quite a daunting thing to come to a club and try and fit in. That's kind of always been my thing. I'm like, I'm just going to try and join in. But that's the one thing I've always loved about it, because it always felt like a welcoming place, a place where it didn't matter how long you've been going. Like there was no, I'd only been a fan for like a year and a half, and you were like, oh, come talk about it. And I was like, okay. So, that meant a lot. And then I just think about it and it's like, you say like, I want to see it in 30, 40 years. I can't wait for the next 30, 40 years. And it's such a big, important part of my life that I think everyone else just needs to think, when you look at it in perspective, we're in compared to, feel the mood around the club 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, it's so different. And, things are changing, things have to change because things are changing. And some reasons are those you'll know, and some reasons, if you don't understand them, there's always a reason for doing something. It's not just because like, oh, we don't care, or the club doesn't care, or people don't care, because they care. From working with someone who on this call who literally spends her day trying to make sure that people who care are okay, that they care. So it's really not it does feel big because nobody likes change. So
everyone likes change as long as it doesn't affect them.
As long as it's just traffic lights.
So if it affects me, then it's bad. But if it affects you, I don't care.
I don't care. It doesn't affect me. No.
I'm going to wrap up.
I think the club's in a good position. So why complain? Let's be happy.
I was going to wrap it up because Neil looks like he's getting ready for bed, but he's put his hand up as well.
My nearest charging point. I thought,
oh my God, we're getting on for 8 o'clock. Neil's going to bed.
If anybody makes old men comments about needing to go to bed at 8 o'clock, I will kill you.
Never said a word.
Claire. But there are things which don't make sense, but I'm sure there is a reason why the club have done it. And I think that the criticism sometimes is there isn't the explanation why something's been done. And I think that's the bit that would help if they got that over. So they take one on the catering point of view. And it wasn't just me, the Millwall game, wasn't it? Was why there's no more bacon rolls. Now that does seem quite bonkers because I always associate a bacon roll with football.
I think different people associate different things with football, right? For me, I'd always say I'd have a burger at football.
Yeah, me too.
But so many people would say to me, oh no, it's a pie, or it's this, that, and the other. And there are so many different things that people want. But I think that and that's not to say that the menu won't change or evolve or get bigger than what it is. But ultimately, it's week 3 for Rob doing all of this stuff, and actually let's start small, do a smaller menu amazingly well, and then build on that and whatever. And if lots of people lobby for things, then there potentially could be, scope for different things, and there are going to be guest appearances for different dishes for different games and things like that. So I think it's exciting, and it's frustrating when the thing that you really want possibly isn't there. But it's a chance to try something different, Neil.
Yeah. Bacon roll Sunday morning football, not Saturday afternoon football. But Neil, that very point, I'm not picking on you, that very point of, but we need to be told why, is what I mean by we've been so spoilt, because lots of other clubs just say this is what we're doing and that's it. There is no why, no explanation. And that's why we've been sport for the last X number of years, because we've always been told why, or someone's come and explained. And it doesn't necessarily have to happen. You don't see other businesses, because that's what it is, coming out and explaining all the decisions. But anyway,
certain people don't listen. You're never going to
Yeah.
stop that happening.
anyway, I can't believe we've made this far into this episode and Claire hasn't managed to squeeze in the fact that tomorrow night is the fans' party.
My party.
Claire's party.
My
Sorry, Claire's
party.
Yeah.
I don't expect gifts, but if you want to bring them, you're more than welcome to do so. But no, in all seriousness, it's something that myself and Alison from the Supporters Club have talked about numerous times in previous seasons, and I've really driven this to try and make it something quite exciting and interesting. Kicks off from 5:30 in the fan zone. There will be, the bar open. There's a cocktail cart, I believe. There's face painting. The Arison are playing at around 6:00. There's some kind of surprise at some point during the evening. I want to say around about 7:00. Not sure what that is. Lots of the players, I think pretty much most of the players will be there from 5:30 for a period of time. I'm sure those that live further away will peter out earlier than others, but I'm sure that you'll be able to monopolize John Meany into talking to you for hours and hours and hours if you start him off on a topic that he loves. Yeah, it's a really good opportunity to come down, mingle with fans, meet some players, talk to some of the coaching staff, and get involved in a kind of the penultimate day of the close season, as it were, because we're on the cusp of the start of 25-26. So enjoy celebrating the summer that was and looking forward to next season. But I think it's a really good opportunity to see people talk about stuff. Come and ask some of those questions if there are things that have happened that you don't understand. There'll be staff available as well to talk about bits and pieces. So it should be a really good evening. And the weather looks good, so that's always helpful. So yeah.
No, good. And we still don't know what that surprise could possibly be.
No clue.
Not a clue.
It's me. I just turn up at 7.
Actually,
He's jumping out of a giant cake at 7:00.
I feel we need
There
to
we go.
discuss this. I did tweet it out yesterday and I tagged the club, but they haven't responded yet. Ipswich gave out their squad list and their number 17 is a certain Ed Sheeran. I'm feeling we should give me a squad number so people can go around with my name on their back.
I
I'd
don't
rather
think it would
put my
sell.
face in a deep fat fryer.
What?
Wow. That was brutal, Joe.
He's not very nice, is he?
Before he's even started.
Let's mute Joe.
Do you think you have the same level of gravitas as Ed Sheeran?
Me or him?
No, Mike.
More.
Well, he's
Okay.
ginger, so
But his legs actually don't work like they used to before. That's the problem.
very good. You've seen all those tweets as well.
Yeah.
Right, on to the season. Neil, what are your feelings of this season? What are your hopes? I put it out the other day, but I want to know what your head says, what your heart says, what your gut says, and what is your bottom limit. No one got that. Emoji of a peach for your bottom limit. No one got it.
I've gone on the record to say that I can see us finishing 5th. But there's that nagging bit in the background that, it's time for another 5th year title and promotion.
I didn't bring that up the other day to Steve. I just thought I'm not going to do it.
So
I thought I pushed my luck a bit too far.
So often you get a surprise package, and I think we are going to be grossly underestimated.
Fair enough.
And this comes from the world's biggest pessimist.
Fair enough. But what would be your limit on, okay, that's acceptable?
Acceptable, I would say, play, with the talent they've got, playoffs.
Okay, fair enough. Joe, do you want to answer what your head, heart, gut, and backside says?
Right. Head says 6th, 7th. I do think we have the. I think there are teams in that top 4. There are shoo-ins, and I think there are some who disappoint. I think I make this controversial. I know we're about to play York. I genuinely think everyone's like York will win the league by miles. I know this, and I don't think they will. I think this league is harder than everyone's thinking, and that's why I'm not saying it's necessary playoffs. I think I don't know what Forest Green are doing. They've had a mental last 6 hours. They've signed one of the best players in the league last season, Nick Horton, and then they've let go of Joe Quigley, Charlie McCann. They've let go of 4 players for a free who they signed for about 500k combined. So it's Robbie Savage just having a clear out. He's doing whatever he wants to do. They're not a shoe-in. Southend look good, but haven't had the best preseason. Rochdale have had a very good preseason. Eastleigh have got good signings. Carlisle made brilliant signings again, but Mark Hughes is Mark Hughes, and I don't know what's going to happen. There are so many unknowns in this league. So there's a part of me which is like, if we start off really well, we could be up top 4, top 3. Heart says lower end of the playoffs, and a day out at Wembley, ending very nicely. Well, whether that be an FA Trophy final or whether that be a playoff final win, not sure. But I do think this could be a very good year for the club.
Fair enough. And what's your limit? Where do you say that's a bad season?
I think anything below 10th. It's harsh, I know. I know we finished 12th last season, but I think with the way things feel right now, I think if we get anything below 10th, it should be seen as, we haven't made a big of a step. We wanted to make this season. Last season was a building block season. This season is the jump. And if we don't really improve and we don't really get anywhere in a cup, then we've got to think, all right, what's going on? Because either we have to adjust, we're going to have to adjust something at the end of the season. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, Steve said his target is better. So that's 12th with 15, 16. Again, I didn't want to pull him up because he said that's bang average. And I was like, bang average is 15, 16, 15. But okay, I'll let you do what you like.
I'd love to see the look on his face if you said that.
Yeah, me too. It would be a black screen. He's gone. Oh, okay. Claire, what about you? Where do you heart, head, blah, blah, blah?
My head and my heart and my gut, for once in a very rare occasion, kind of all agree with each other. And I come to this as the second most pessimistic person on this call after Neil. And I genuinely have this feeling that, playoffs. And I don't care what number that sits in. I think that would be to the top of it. But I really do have this immensely good feeling about everything that I've seen so far and everything that I know is kind of planned and is part of the kind of the ethos of what we're looking to do. And I think the main thing is that, we've anyone who came to an evening with Morrison and Meany will know that, the kind of the thing to take away from it is that we're focusing on ourselves and our game and how we play, and obviously not worrying as much about what everybody else is doing and actually just focusing on how we get the job done. And I think that will be the switch. And I think Joe's right. I think people will massively underestimate us. And that's always bloody handy, isn't it? That people come into it thinking, oh, it's just the likes of Sutton. And yeah, just we've never been a pub team. Let's not start that argument. But I do think that playoffs, I'd be I think my bottom limit is probably, again, like Joe, it needs to be better. I'd be really, at this moment in time, I'd be really disappointed not to find ourselves somewhere in the playoffs. Anything less than 10th, would be disappointing. It does need to be building on what we've done. And he's right, questions would be asked, I guess, if we were in the same place at the end of this season that we were last season. But I do have a good feeling in my gut, my head, and my heart, which is very unusual.
Excellent. I'll be honest. I just want.
You just want to watch football,
have fun. I just want to be able to go. That was good. I like that.
that would be amazing. Is that for me, and I know I've said it to all of you last season, like I found it, there was lots of people that were very upset last season about where we were and where we ended up. And I really struggled to be upset about it because I was kind of like, for me, the worst happened the season before. Like we took it right down to the wire, and we could have, if things had gone our way on that last day, things could have been massively, massively different. If a couple of things had happened in a few different fixtures, we could have been, still where we wanted to be. And I felt like it was really hard to be disappointed with what happened last season because, like, do you know what? It was a whole new squad, and it was, just what it was. And I really hope that people do enjoy watching it this season, because if pre-season's anything to go by, I think we're in for a real treat.
Yeah, and whichever you said you wish you could see Steve's face when I asked him a question. Did you see it when I told him it was our 15th highest finish in history?
I don't really think it moved much.
No. I don't care. Same as he thought about my prediction spreadsheet for the whole season. Wow, I believe utter waste of time might have been what he said, or paraphrasing it.
I've seen more reaction in him when I've offered him a biscuit that he doesn't like, quite frankly.
Yeah, to be fair. Right. I've kept you all very long. Neil does definitely look like he's ready for a nap now because he's settling into that pillow.
So rude, Mike.
Right, I'm going to wrap up this episode of Sutton Podcast. As always, I really appreciate your... Come on, Joe. Come on, Joe.
Attention.
Attention and your feedback.
Why are you all in on it? Neil, Claire and Mike, the beaming grin as I said that is unbelievable.
We're going to win the first time I said it, Joe sat and literally rolled your eyes at me on the screen. So it's like, don't you roll your eyes. So now I make you say it. Everyone needs a little catchphrase. I've got millions. Do like, share, and follow us on social medias at Sutton Podcast. Subscribe. Thank you to Lucky Star Gin, our sponsors. Big thank you to Claire, Joe, and Neil. Thanks to everyone for listening, and we hope you enjoyed the episode. And the season's back. The season's back on Saturday. See a lot of you on Thursday, but then if you're listening to this on Saturday, then you missed a great evening on Thursday. But
I can't believe you behaved the way that you did.
Well, you shouldn't give out cheap drinks, so I'm just saying. Take care, and we'll catch up soon. Bye-bye.
United! United! United!